Fight fans, hello and welcome back to the desk. My name is F. Joined here by Adonis. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. We've had some exciting games these past couple days. A lot of substitutes coming in for these teams and finding some wins. And in these high-profile games, and very important games in a competitive North America. I mean, right now for the final set of Week 5, we're going to be having Enemy take on Eager. And while there's a difference, Enemy sitting at 3rd, Eager at currently 5th,
right.
They're only separated by 1 game.
Exactly, and Eager has been on an upswing. And
yes.
The opposite for Enemy. Enemy saw a lot of their success early on, but right now, Eager has really been seeing some success as of recently. And you see, all the guys look very uniform, except for the one on the left. Well, Omega, brand new to this roster.
Yeah, he swapped at the beginning of the fall split, the most critical of splits from Cloud9, a team that didn't make it to the spring finals, but made it to the summer finals. Also, of course, won the Smite World Championship. So this Eager roster, this is something that he has a lot of faith in because what I said when this happened is Omega wants to win, and he's not going to make a jump to a team like Eager or a mid-tier team from Cloud9 unless he felt that this team could actually compete for Worlds.
Exactly. There's been a lot of people in the scene sort of just, you know, the business isn't there yet. It's about friends. It's about clicks and stuff. And Omega's quite the opposite. He's just there to win. He doesn't even stream because he just wants to get better, as he says. And this squad, with their new solo laner, will be taking on Enemy, a team that nobody really had much faith in early on, and they proved everybody wrong. But as of late, reality seems to have kicked in just a little bit, and they've been dropping some sets.
To be fair, the players or the teams they dropped their sets to were TSM, and they dropped a game against the... I mean, the only losses that this team has been against Cloud9, which they traded off, AFK, and Team Solo Mid. They're only losing to the teams that have been at the top of North America for quite some time. They've been beating these teams that have been in the middle and at the bottom. I mean, they're a team that's definitely in contention with 6 teams now going to LAN. They're looking pretty solid.
So with Eager here, actually, this is an interesting matchup for Enemy to take on because Eager they're not one of the top teams, but they certainly have been making their statement that they would like to be. So
Eager is the team that's like not top, but right below them. Could probably take some games. We actually saw Eager take a game off their scrim partners, AFK Gaming, the only loss that AFK has had coming into the first half of the split. But it's going to be game 1. Enemy first pick order side against Team Eager second pick. Khaos side, Giannis banned away. That's going to be taken away from Lassiz in the middle.
No God of Doors. So mobile. So not going to be allowed for Eager to select him. Circuit banned out by Eager. So no Circuit in the jungle. We will not see Wiggles playing that character.
So one thing I've noticed from Eager is even with the nerfs to Ao Kuang, we started to see a lot more players not pick or even ban it. Eager, though, they still like the Kwang, and it's a very powerful god. DareToCare is very proficient on it. He's been practicing and playing it a lot. And I think this is Eager leaving it up because they know that Enemy don't really want to invest a first pick into it. They don't respect it as much as really themselves.
We'll see what this 4th ban comes out to be, and you're thinking about it, figuring out if they actually do want to leave that Ao Kuang open or if they'll go ahead and ban it. And they will. They'll ban out the Sun Wukong. Now, a lot of times we've seen this character left on the table and either sort of picked first or second. This time around, this might have been the first straight ban of Wukong. And it's about time. This character is so strong at the moment.
Yeah, we started to see him banned out a little bit here and there now, or force picked if he's left open.
Exactly.
He's just so strong with that blue stone. Could be played in multiple roles, and we finally even have seen him in the jungle. First pick, though, going to be Bellona for Enemy. That could go to a couple players.
Yeah, it's either Saltmachine in the solo or Wiggles in the jungle. Enemy
probably Saltmachine, though. I don't really see Wiggles playing that. He likes the assassins, although he does have a Hoonbots. Well, I mean, that's an assassin too, but it's more seen as the AoE team fighter, right?
Yeah.
We've seen a nasty Kali come out from Wiggles.
Ooh.
Khepri, though, was left open, and we're going to see PBM on that one.
Yeah, Khepri is going to be picked up here by Team Eager. PolarBearMike, of course, the support player for this squad. A newer SPL player here, sort of a rookie for not just this team, but the SPL
Definitely a diamond in the rough. PolarBearMike.
Yep.
Geb. Tom, there's a Geb right there. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see there's a Khepri, and then there's a Geb.
This is a Khepri
and those are right.
This is a Khepri solo.
This is not blame Adonis production, crap. This is correct.
No, let's still blame Adonis because that's what we do here, as Nuaz picked up on the left-hand side. But this is Khepri solo, and this isn't I mean, this isn't strange. This isn't that strange. It's not that much of a stretch if you
He
think
has
about
pretty
what
good.
Khepri
He does have very good clear, or pretty solid clear. Most notably, his dash goes through minions, so he's able to get that extra damage off. And I'm pretty sure, like, this is screaming that Khepri's going to be in the solo lane, so it's going to be interesting to see what enemy's going to be matching up against. I guess it's going to be the Bellona. New Wall, you said, locked in, and then Athena as well. Enemy done with their first half of their draft.
So again, Guardians in the solo lane, not a big deal. Anatoly played Ymir. We've seen many Sobex.
Okay, but we've never seen this. We don't know how this works.
The Khepri is new. He's a new character.
Have you seen anyone do this outside of trolling on their streams?
Yes.
Who?
I've seen Dion Brandon and PBAT do it a lot.
No, I'm sorry. Did I say bronze and silver players? I'm pretty.
Well, Pecky's has 3 Masters accounts.
He played Khepri solo?
Yes. More than Adonis.
That's because I've never played Khepri solo.
But no, on a serious note, Khepri solo, just think about it. The wave clear is definitely there, and Khepri is a character much like Aphrodite in the sense that he provides a lot of support to the team, but not a true initiate. You put him in the solo lane when it's time to team fight, you have the battle res, you have the damage reduction, you have all the tools without the shoehorning him into the support role.
I think we're going to see a lot of high damage characters come out from Eager, especially in the last spot. They're going to draft Thor, and I do like the Ao Kuang ban coming up from enemy. I noted it earlier, Eager's the only team who really is still running this or prioritizing it over Sorket's or Thor's, and you can see that banned away. Batz locked in for enemy.
You were talking about that before. A very good choice for Wiggles. Normally the individual assassin character, but here sort of the hybrid. Batz can definitely delete somebody, but more the team fight orientation.
A lot of his is based on RNG. His passive actually infuses his abilities with critical strike. It increases his crit after using an ability just for the one auto attack. Apollo going to be the last god locked in. A lot of mobility coming out from enemy. They have Apollo across the skies, a true global. Athena as well, defender of Olympus, a true global, able to lock onto any player. And then New Wall, of course, the hardest skill shot in the game, Fire Shards hitting everyone. And they can't stop it.
Poseidon being picked up for the mid-roll, most likely the mid-roll on Team Eager. This is Lassiz's, I mean, whenever I seem to watch Lassiz, he seems to be playing this Poseidon. There are so many other gods, and Lassiz actually, it's funny, most people know him as a jungler turned mid laner. It's actually mid laner turned jungler turned mid laner. Lassiz winds up having one of the deeper god pools in this mid role I've found.
He's one of the few players that will just play anything, and I don't want to say it's because he gets bored, but I think sometimes he just gets bored.
It's also confidence. Lassiz is a very confident guy.
He's been playing Smite longer than basically anyone else in the SPL currently. I mean,
him and Lobster.
Before all of this, before I've worked for hi-rez, before I played competitive, I started watching Lassiz' stream, and I'm like, okay, this guy, he's really good. You know, he was one of the first competitive players, and he had like 2,000 wins back then. I'm like, this is like 2.5, 3 years ago.
Lassiz and Lobster have been playing Smite by candlelight in the Dark Ages. It seems like these two players have been around for ever. And, you know, it's interesting here. I love to see this on Eager. We've got some of the older players as Lassiz and Zapman really come out. And then PolarBearMike, one of the newer players. So
he's really the diamond in the rough that Eager was able to snipe away from a Challengers Cup team. And he's performed very well, a very heavy theory crafter as well. I know he talks a lot with ShadowQ and all those guys who really like to crunch the numbers sometimes.
And lately, coach of this team, Cred, has talked about that he's
So why don't you tell me about this Khepri solo? This Khepri over here in the solo right now. Why don't you tell me about him?
All right, it's Geb solo. Last time I saw Geb solo, PBAT was running it with Telkine's Ring and Fatalis. So
I want to see this, right? And people have actually talked about Geb solo being a thing forever, but no one's ever really had the gall to run it more than anything. No. And the knockup actually does a lot of damage.
Right.
It's going to be interesting, though, to see what Omega's going to build. You can see he started off with Vanguard.
And this is something that Omega actually has a lot of practice in. He's never played it in an SPL match, either for Eager or Cloud9. But he's been playing this for as long as Geb has been out. The solo lane Geb is something Omega plays a lot of in scrims, whether, like I said, on both teams. He likes the Guardians in the solo lane, so while it's very strange to see it here, it's a finally for him. He's been doing it in scrims. He finally gets to bring it into the SPL. Surprise for us. No surprise for Eager.
Wiggles tanking almost the full Berserker's Barrage there in mid lane. Going to be under half already and forced out. And Omega, well, this is probably what he's going to be doing. He's going to be knocking up the wave, rolling through it, and then taking a lot of harass as he runs back to his tower, gets his knock up again, and then finishes the wave off.
half HP for one wave. It's going to be a rough matchup very early on for Geb. Later on, as the items come online, we'll most likely see this wave clear come out a little bit better on the side of the solo lane Guardian for Eager.
Saltmachine's not even giving him the time of day. Look at that harass come out onto Omega. He's tanking a lot of archers, but he doesn't even care. Nice knock up though.
He should care. The archers evening this up.
Like, look at the health he has back already. He's Death's Toll and a ton of potions. It's going to be a rough early game for Omega. I do expect to see DareToCare either over here babysitting the lane or looking to get duo fed.
Dare in the mid lane, not thinking about solo just yet. And again, that's sort of Omega's playstyle. Rollout going to be stopped by Saltmachine. Very smart, but Hammer going to be stopped by Omega, so smart as well.
I'm going to give Saltmachine full credit here because he's being very aggressive against this lane. I guarantee you this is nothing, or almost guarantee this is nothing he has been playing against. It's just Geb solo doesn't really happen, even in scrims outside of maybe Omega, and they're not scrimming.
Exactly. Eager, like I said, Eager has seen this, and and Omega might have been practicing this for years, but this is probably... Saltmachine can probably count the amount of times he's
mid lane
on one hand. Lassiz gets the kill with the Kraken onto the jungler. Wiggles. So a character that wants to reach level 5 as soon as possible going to be given a setback.
It looks like he used his ult. He was trying to find a kill on Lassiz more than likely, but I'm assuming that Lassiz had just hit 5 or something like that, got caught in cripple, and, well, that was the end of it for Wiggles.
Lassiz with a good start off for himself. At the moment, he's facing off against Khaos on that new Wa. A lot of attention being paid to this solo lane, but all the action winding up in the mid. New Wa being pushed under the tower, and, well, that's Poseidon.
Speaking of pushed under the tower, I keep going back to this lane, but I feel like I have to.
This is the interesting lane.
I mean, Omega versus Saltmachine, you can already see the gold disparity. It's more than 500, and that's not first blood. Both these players are 0-0-0. This is just Omega losing last hits. He had to have expected this going in, though. He had to have.
And again, this is... Knowing that Omega has played this for so long, there's no way Geb is going to win the early laning phase against the Bellona. So I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. There's an upside, and we're going to be seeing it eventually, I assume.
Mid camps, it looks like enemy want it, but Eager aren't going to let them have it. And DareToCare with the stun, but on the wrong side. PainDeViende not going to get pulled there, and Eager just going to grab those mid camps for free.
Rotation coming out from PolarBearMike on the new Khepri. 3-on-3 in the mid lane, as usual. This is the core of these teams, not necessarily per player, but per role. This is what we see. This is what we consider largely the core of these teams. The mid laner, the support, and the jungle will generally roam together for the first 5 minutes or so of these contests, and Wiggles breaking off to come with his solo laner.
What I like about these drafts, right, especially the cores for Team Eager, they put the Geb in solo, they drafted the Khepri, and then they put a very hard hyper carry onto Zapman, and that's the key, right? It's going to be Zapman in the late game, and it's going to be PolarBearMike and Omega throwing shields, throwing damage reduction, and it's going to be almost, if not near impossible for enemy to kill Zapman if they try and focus him early on. But then what Eager did is they also drafted some very strong early to mid-game gods in Thor and Poseidon. While overall, I think their damage is going to be lacking late game.
There's a nice curve to this draft.
Yes, it's a really nice bell curve where you have the Thor and the Poseidon to get you through the early game and allow Zapman to become a monster late and have these two very defensive, tanky gods to protect your hyper carry.
Exactly. A lot of times we'll see the draft come out and it's late game focus, so this team wants to do nothing until the late game, or it's early game focus where they better win before 20 minutes or they're smoked. This time around, there's handoffs. There's a bridge on the side of Eager, and as you said, I really do like the craftsmanship here. On the other side for enemy, very similar stuff. You've got Vetium on the Apollo, who, I mean, Apollo's never really not relevant, right? He's got the ultimate.
He can always split push at the very least.
Exactly. He's always really relevant. Nuwa thought of more late game. Batz,
big skill shotter.
The mid game. And the Bellona, sort of that mid game as well, the late mid game. So
lots of big AoEs coming out for enemy here. A trip to the soul lane. Omega getting very aggressive. Nice stun from DareToCare, going to stop Saltmachine's bludgeon in place. Well, I wouldn't have killed Omega.
Right.
Definitely would have got him low. With Wiggles rotating and PainDeViende here in the right lane too, it could have spelled death for someone.
Pain sniffing out the opponent. He's just going to play it safe. Come on back. I thought we might have seen an aggression onto PolarBearMike, but Pain opted otherwise. So enemy instead will go back into their own jungle. Don't forget enemy playing on the bottom side of your UI in blue, Eager in red.
Eager going to give up these mid camps, and you could tell PolarBearMike, he wanted to fight them, but with Lassiz at that red buff, it's really not worth the chance. And Vetium was also in rotation before Zapman, so they're not going to care about, you know, one set of mid camps here. Omega going to be clearing the back harpies. Mid, though, I don't think anything too exciting going to be happening for now.
Bunch of abilities being used, and Eager again dropping that ward in the mid lane. It might seem silly because there's a tower right here, but folks, don't forget this mid lane ward. We'll see it on your screen as Pain walks by.
Oh, that sentry, it's just over the wall. That was a really smartly placed ward coming out from PolarBearMike, recognizing that if there was a sentry there, it's not going to pick it up. He still catches the rotate. Can we actually hover over those if this fight doesn't break out?
Which it doesn't.
PainDeViende might be looking for it. If we could actually hit that Eager ward, you could see he could still catch the rotation. And now this is a little bit misleading. That's the overall range of that sentry ward.
Right.
However, it doesn't have direct line of sight with it, so there's no counter going to come out. So smart placement from PBM.
The wards don't go through walls. So.
Yes.
Very smart placement. It's the small things, and again, that's sort of what we were talking about. PolarBearMike, one of the newer players, and not just on this team, but in the SPL in general. And Kret recently has been saying how PolarBearMike has sort of made strides in the past couple of weeks. This, of course, coming from the coach. So these smaller things coming out from the player on a regular basis, that's sort of what you want to see out of your rookie player.
It's also going to be helping Omega a lot, who's, I'm going to keep referring to it for now, a 700 to 800 gold lead now in this solo lane. Saltmachine very far ahead, and enemy caught with their pants around their waist, or, I mean, they're nowhere to be seen. There's no wards. Eager's just like, hey, I'll take it for free. There comes the new wall, but it's way too late. This was free.
Eager sneaks one out. No vision. No vision, and I mean no vision from enemy anywhere near the Gold Fury. The only ward on the left side of the map is behind the Gold Fury.
That was just free. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. They just weren't very aware right there and farming their own camps without vision. Very unfortunate for them, but a great play by Eager, recognizing that they had the vision control and taking advantage of it.
Eager taking every opportunity to put themselves in the lead.
And enemy's just trying to find anything. They know Eager took a lot of damage from the Gold Fury. Let's back off, see if we can get anything from it, but not going to do it. Sentry wards coming out here, and now enemy starting to ward up this left-hand side a little bit more.
Well, a little bit late for that first Gold Fury, but of course, Gold Fury does... It becomes more valuable as time goes on, so not the end of the world for... enemy right now is
that's a big help to Omega more than anything. He's still behind a lot of gold,
right.
500, but at least it's not 900 anymore. But I mean, I keep talking about it, but this is 100% what Omega expected.
Exactly. You don't come into this matchup expecting to win it, and a lot of times, I mean, for a lot of the lower end, the more inexperienced players at home, it might just be very black and white in the solo lane, but speaking to some of the pros, both publicly and privately, a really big key to playing successfully at the high, a really big key to playing successfully at this level of play in the solo lane is not just learning how to win lane, but learning how to lose lane effectively.
Basically, if you're planning on feeding, don't feed too hard. Is that what it breaks down to?
I think it's a little more deep than that, Adonis, but sure.
If you give up first blood, do not fight for at least 15 minutes. That is your that's an order. It's not even like a goal. That's do it.
Saltmachine dancing on top of the ward that was placed there by Eager, so completely on the map.
That's got to be the worst feeling too. Omega, right? Now he's knocking up these minions, and they're like 1 health, but then he gets disarmed, so he can't even auto-attack them to get the gold. Thor to the air, though. They're going to go for Saltmachine, actually catch him in his dash there, and PolarBearMike pulls him out of the Kraken.
Ultimate coming out from Wiggles. That should send everybody running, but they're running directly at the opponent. PolarBearMike forced out, using his ultimate on himself, and Eager with a giant 3-man rotation to help out Omega in the solo lane gets nothing out of it as enemy matches their giant rotation.
Because of that, Zapman's also rotated to the mid, making sure that if he had to support, he was going to keep it. Vetium, though, a little bit scared. I thought he was going to try and split push this tower. His ultimate was up, elects not to, but PolarBearMike, that's the one thing about the pluck coming out from Khepri is you can't cancel it.
Right.
Once you're trapped in there, you can't just like, and it's a very weird movement. It's not very easy to turn 180 and pull him back into the Kraken.
It works
like
similar.
PolarBearMike was like, I'm sorry, man.
Right. It works similar
I don't know
to,
what to do.
the way Guan's horse works, where you can't just directly turn. You have sort of a curvature to the way you got to move. So Khepri, unfortunately, bringing his target out of the direct.
It's okay. We talked him up earlier. He's fine. He's evened out right now. All right. PolarBearMike right now, you're at a 0. So let's see some plays. No more pulling players out of Krakens. Taunt. Lassiz.
Lassiz is in a little bit of trouble. Damage reduction going to help just a little bit. Lassiz will stay alive.
That was a lot of poke.
A lot of poke. Lassiz down to about 33%, 1/3 of his life bar online. The rest of the opponents on enemy in the jungle. Wiggles just barely coming out of the bank. So he's going to be picking up he's going to be building towards that Jotun's Wrath. Very standard stuff coming out from Batz. Nothing too crazy. Well, look at the Geb. He's got power boots and cooldown by way of Breastplate of Valor.
And no blue. It was stolen. DareToCare forced to beads here, and Wiggles actually throws out the ultimate while DareToCare was still CC immune. I guess if he only had rank 1, does he have rank 1? He has to have higher than that. Yeah, rank 3. If those were rank 1 beads, which is what I'm assuming Wiggles thought, he would have been caught in the Fear No Evil. Unfortunately, though, rank 3 going to grant you longer CC immunity. I would have done the same thing. I'm like, man, why does he have rank 3 beads already? Come on.
I mean,
no one buys it that early. You finish Jotuns. Damage.
Worth noting that the rank 3 beads still do give you way of cooldown reduction. Athena ultimate onto Khaos. Aggression.
I think he was trying to find someone else there.
Exactly.
Taunting onto Lassiz. There's beats force. 2 beats down now. Kraken comes through. Khaos. He takes it to the sky, but it doesn't matter. He's going to fall the second he comes down.
Zapman gets credit for that one, who found himself in the middle lane. Vishia makes the rotation, but gets stuck underneath the hammer of Thor. Team Eager still pressing forward. Omega here in the middle of everybody. Bellona is here as well. So both solo laners have made the rotation. And as you said, the Cataclysm is still available.
Both solo laners held their ult there. Didn't look like either team wanted to commit too hard or felt like they didn't want to commit and just not get anything off it. Neither thought they had kill potential, and just going to be a 1-for-0 wash in favor of Eager there. Second kill on the board.
Ward's immediately taken out by Eager. It looks like almost every single ward dropped by the Eager squad is a sentry. There's very few traditional wards on the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not worth it getting countered right now. You want to have sentry control, and you saw just how free Eager got the first Gold Fury. Because they had sentries all over the map, and they were able to counter out critical enemy wards who are we're typically just placing those normal wards early on. Gold Fury spawning once again. Eager wants to make sure they have vision of it.
Very slow match today, 14 minutes in. Only 2 kills on the board, both of which going the way of Eager. Enemy have yet to really make noise.
No beads for Lassiz.
Taunt on Lassiz, as you said, no beads. Fear no evil. Overhand smash will hit, but the basic won't.
That was all the damage reduction. You see that health he has? He actually got the full 3-second duration before he took his first hit coming out from that Rising Dawn, and that is the power of Khepri. When you can get that damage reduction on a player, just completely immune out a 3v1 gank, basically. Or 2v3, I guess.
Wow. Such potency coming out from the support.
Left-hand side, invasion onto this attack speed buff, and it looks like enemy will be able to secure it. Zapman not going to be able to steal it away.
This lane in the solo, we'll take a look at it one more time. 15 to 15. Rollout almost knocking Saltmachine into the tower. Not quite, though. So experience seems to be the same. Gold, very different. Almost 1,000 gold separate these players. 800 to be a little bit more precise. Geb on the lower end of things, which really, as we keep saying, is no surprise. His character isn't sort of expecting to win the lane over, especially a Bellona.
I mean, he's also pushed under his tower. He doesn't really have to worry too much about ganks because his team has been doing a good job of placing really good wards and noticing the rotations.
I mean, he doesn't have to worry about ganks because he's Geb.
Hey, you can kill a Geb. Don't get me wrong.
How?
You just use like 4 ultimates and hope the other team doesn't rotate.
And hope he forgets to shield.
Yeah, hope the other team doesn't rotate.
Geb, incredibly just resistant to a lot of the damage. Early on, we saw him taking a bunch, but as
look at that. He took a full bludgeon for half his shield.
Yeah, I mean, the shield is just potent. Can we take a look? Yeah, we'll see. Nothing. He's not even leveling up the ultimate as of yet, really. Just the point for posterity. And the shield is just on point, able to really level it up, and you know, just not taking a lot of damage here. Breastplate working directly against what Bellona wants to do. And
Gold
Eager
Fury.
going to start up the Gold Fury this time around. There is vision by way of looking at it. PainDeViende standing here and Wiggles from the right.
And Eager's just going to back off of that one. They're trying to sneak another one, but I mean, if enemy's going to defend it now, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, hey, it worked the first time. Let's try. Oh, they're here.
Are you guys going to give us this? No? Okay, time to go back to farming lanes.
No problem. Khepri making the rotation all the way to those mids.
So Zapman, looking at his build versus Vetium's. Vetium going kind of the new school. Actually, no, that's not even new school. He actually goes Devos and Soul Leader.
Right,
something we typically don't see.
We saw this last match with Allied. It gives a lot of lifesteal, and you're giving up a little bit, but you're gaining so much lifesteal. The Apollo is just able to stay in the middle of fights, almost like a Freya. And
it's a pretty cheap build because more than likely going that Executioner into crit.
Yeah, most likely.
Getting those 4 core items online, all under like 2,200, I believe. Pretty cheap.
Ikaval on the other side for Zapman. Pretty much what we've become to see the standard right now. PainDeViende in some trouble. Great peel from wigglesdabae.
Thor's to the air.
On point. And Thor's going to land in the back.
Was that?
Smack PainDeViende for a kill.
Yeah, it was an Aegis. So Aegis won, though, not going to be able to keep him alive. He did immune out the Thor dunk. Didn't get hit by the stun or the damage, but I mean, Berserker's Barrage is going to pick him up. Eager now going to take their man advantage, and especially with Saltmachine over there split pushing, rotation comes in, but there's Omega.
Caught out as Khaos, and he's going to die before he even takes to the sky. Apollo's the only one here. Eager not even interested in engaging onto the Hunter.
2-pick Gold Fury.
Gold Fury actually came before the 2 picks.
You're right. Okay. 1 pick, Gold Fury, 1 pick. This is what we see a lot from teams that really like to slowly snowball leads. They find a pick, then they take an advantage, and they find more picks after that. Eager now with it looks like, I believe, it was a 25 or a 2K gold lead we saw on the graphs there. Lassiz, though, getting ganked in the mid, trying to get one more wave. Huge rotation in, and Lassiz, one more hit. Wiggles finds that kill.
Athena ultimate helped out. A lot of damage coming down onto Lassiz because of that. Might have even been able to sustain that gank if Athena didn't show up. Backside. Saltmachine makes the rotation.
He also grabbed tier 1 tower meantime. That also helped out on the gold they lost from the Gold Fury there. The Gold Fury not at its full worth anymore as it does scale. So a nice little even up there.
Omega going to lose his blue. And from his positioning, no, enemy does not want to engage. It is a Geb.
Rotations coming out here into the middle lane. Enemy continuing to be aggressive, although it hasn't been working out for them so far. Going to be able to find these mid camps, and this game is still very, very close. Right now, though, Saltmachine has such a big lead individually. That's the only thing really keeping enemy close. We need to see him either utilizing that by rotating more or shutting down the Geb even further, trying to find that tier 2 on right.
I mean, again, shutting down the Geb. Geb is not really
you don't want to invest
item
everything.
dependent. You know, Geb shield is Geb shield. A knockup is a knockup. A cataclysm is a cataclysm. The items are going to come out. You see them building towards magical damage.
That's going to be either a Warlock's or a Ethereal.
I think it's a little bit late for a Warlock's, more likely an Ethereal set.
Yeah, I mean, we're 20 minutes in. And Omega, can we actually take a look at minion hits here? Probably not the best at clearing them out. You could see him sitting there at 116 compared to 184 from Saltmachine. So that's actually, that's a significant amount of gold, to be fair.
Right. That's probably higher than most people would have expected, honestly. Doing what he can in the lane is Omega. And again,
look at him. DareToCare's like, hey man, have fun. I'm gonna invade the left side. You just have fun with Bellona 1v1.
You picked
defending your tier 2 tower.
You picked Geb. So all the aggression from Team Eager coming into the enemy jungle. They're gonna catch Vetium out. Not gonna be able to deal the damage, but PainDeViende dashes in, grabs 2 with a taunt up in the air as Thor. He's gonna come right on down. Way to beat after Wiggles aggresses, and he'll come down, but the Wiggles has already done damage to Lassiz. No Kraken available. Poseidon will die with that in his hand. Forced out of Zapman. He'll survive, but just long enough for Wiggles to jump over the wall and take him out himself. So
Wiggles.
2 members on the side of Eager. Wiggles doing fantastic. Vetium makes that 3. The kills are even. An enemy with a huge swing around.
He's going to get it. Is he going to teleport? One more hit overhead smash, and he actually jukes it out. He may find DareToCare, but he jumps in place, not wanting to jump into tower. Smart decision. Don't get me wrong there. Don't want to dive too deep.
That was a great sequence from Wiggles.
Wiggles finds the double kill, and then also a delayed 3rd kill on Khepri. Enemy immediately rotate over to this mid tower, and that's
Smart
just
stuff.
the fact that Omega, he teleported in late to that fight. I mean, he was forced out. Saltmachine rotated early, found a big team fight, and Eager just caught a little bit too aggressive. You saw the flank come in. There was 2 members in mid lane. They rotate down to the fight and just caught trying to find a pick on their own. 2 towers as well. And enemy, they're not going to just even up this game. They're going to take the lead.
Yeah, and again, one of the bigger parts of that fight was Wiggles being able to use his ultimate before Thor came down. Don't forget, it's not the Thor ultimate isn't instant like a Thanatos ult. When you're up in the air, when you click and choose your position, it takes a minute or two, as we take a brief timeout, it takes a second or two to really come down from the sky. So you saw DareToCare go up, and Wiggles immediately recognizing that, drops the ultimate. Fear and Weevil comes out. He's able to delete Lassiz not only before Thor comes down, but before the Kraken comes out, which was a huge turnaround for Eager. Or for enemy.
For enemy, yeah. Big play for them, though. Short game pause, guys. We're going to be getting back as soon as we can here. It looks like PainDeViende, I believe, disconnected before we went into that. So, enemy now, they've taken the gold lead about 2, I believe it was 3K, a big 4K gold swing, because not only did they basically wipe 4 members of Eager, but they also gained 2 towers in both the mid and left-hand side. Now, Gold Theory, it's going to be spawning here very shortly once we get back into the game. That's likely to be the next contention point for both teams, and it's not going to be as free as the first one for Eager was.
It's going to be a little bit rough, as you said, not free like the last time. We might even see a fight over it, or potentially a steal. Enemy now have the gold lead, so teams are very even as far as itemization is concerned. It's not going to be an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination for either side here. We're basically in the exact middle of everything, honestly, here, Kevin, and no team has anything leaning in one direction or the other, and we'll see how it works out. Omega just got his ultimate back, and as we get back into the game, 21 minutes in here, enemy has used all 3 of their pauses, so play will continue without PainDeViende this time around. Enemy will take on Eager 4v5.
That's going to be real rough for them. I mean, that's their main CC coming into the taunt. But another thing, too, and this may not be the biggest thing to most people, but he had Sovereignty and he had Heartward online. That's 20 protections of each on your team. Wiggles forced to beads here. Stun coming through. DareToCare is not going to be chasing it, though. Gold Theory about to spawn, and if I was a betting man, which I actually am, I would definitely bet on Eager trying to take advantage of this and grabbing this Gold Theory once it spawns 4v5.
Without a doubt. I mean, we've seen Eager on the other side of this coin as well. Omega briefly had connection issues earlier in the season, and they fought 4v5 and largely, I mean, to say they tread water would be doing them a disservice. This Team Eager did very well 4v5 on the bad side of things, so they've seen the other side of the coin, and Eager probably know how to take advantage of this most likely. Enemy, unfortunately, going to be stuck here 4v5 unless PainDeViende can manage to reconnect.
Left-hand side, we see a big gank coming through. Zapman, though, just going to dash away. He is slowed by wigglesdabae jump, but now the poison coming through. I don't think they have enough damage to finish off that. And DareToCare, he's going to come crashing down, and Wiggles trying to make a play before Gold Fury was taken. He's going to be the one to fall, and Eager, they're going to walk away with this one for free. You can see Vetium and Khaos in the mid lane. They're not even going to try and contest.
Great team rotation now from Eager to be able to understand that we have to help our hunter here, as you said. Zapman's the late game hope. We've been talking about everybody else on the map except for Zapman, and here, as we're getting later and later, now it's time for him to start doing things, but the team has to protect him before he can actually come online. Crit just started for Zapman. So, no, crit.
Sounded like you said crit.
That's incredible. I'm not going to give you credit for that either.
You're going to give me credit for it?
I'm not going to give you credit for that.
Credit for it? Right-hand side, we see Saltmachine trying to split push. Vetium going to be defending, but I mean, look at this. Eager coming underneath him. He's going to ult into the air, and he should be out, but he's definitely going to be losing this tier 1 tower. Khaos just trying to find farm in the mid lane, and this is not looking good for
Geb's still trying to defend his tower against minions. In the solo lane.
Hey, minions are very... Maybe that's their hope. Maybe they just, like, they have Saltmachine push up, and then Geb like, come on, man, I'm tired. I don't want to defend this. They'll just fight a 4v4 all game. Geb's just going to be sitting there split pushing. He's going to try and split push this tier 1, too. I don't know if Wiggles will rotate over in time. Yeah, they'll be over in time.
Split push Geb. Omega's taking a look at the tower. Basics coming out. He's got a full wave of minions. Here comes the rotation from Saltmachine. Will ride along with the enemy solo laner. The tower goes down. Split push Geb succeeds. Double stun coming out, and he's going to roll away.
DareToCare, he's rotated in as well, and you can see Omega, based on his positioning, he wants to fight. Wiggle smells something out, forced to beads as Thor comes crashing down. Nice Fear No Evil, but the Geb shield and beads going to keep Thor alive. Lassiz over the wall finds the title surge. Oh, man,
Great
what a
play.
snipe. That is like one of the slowest moving abilities in the game, too.
That play out of DareToCare, understanding how the DareToCare plays a lot of Hun-Bats. And I mean, at a professional level, understanding multiple characters makes it work. The Fire Giant started by Team Eager. DareToCare understands that the next move for that Hun-Bats is to drop the ultimate, continues to chase by beadsing before the ultimate comes out and hitting the ability Berserker's Barrage. Just completely understood everything that Batz was going to do. Eager takes the Fire Giant, but enemy sneaks out a Phoenix down a member.
I love this from enemy. They're split pushing. They're not going to allow Team Eager to just get everything for free. They're actually, with new WoW wins, they might be able to take this Geb. He's going to be rolling out. I don't think he's going to be here in time.
Can't stop it.
Yeah, he's going to try all his might. Vetium, nice beats, and they're going to grab 2 Phoenixes. He's going to be ulting out of here. Khaos, though, it's a matter of will he be able to escape in time. Lassiz, his passive, it gives him movement speed, but Khaos might be a little bit too slippery for them to lock down.
Khaos has movement speed as well with the fog.
He's just going to try and do free damage. He knows he's locked down. Try and get whatever you can. There's the ultimate. Get some more free damage across the board before you die.
Behind the
Khaos.
fog just a
Khaos.
little bit.
Oh,
Dodge a little bit of everything. Still invisible.
I mean, he was dead, but still. Those are some nice jukes.
Lassiz gets the kill with the Trident to put the number 7 on the board for Team Eager. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is the first game of a 2-game set. Unfortunately, PainDeViende has not been able to reconnect. All 3 pauses have been used by enemy as per the rules, so the game must continue 4v5.
Enemy's only down 1,000. Since losing Pain, they've actually made this a closer game.
I mean, they got 2 Phoenixes in the last 2 minutes.
That, like, great play coming out from enemy. Like, just the decision-making to do that there. Now they're going to be trying to defend this middle lane. And Zapman taking a lot of damage. He's going to jump away. Wiggles going to chase after him. There's Darkest of Nights. One more hit, but the Khepri ult, it's going to keep Wiggles off. He can't chase into that. Geb's rotated in. There's a 2-man Cataclysm. Khepri, he's going to try and lock some players down. Fear No Evil, though, should finish him off.
Even game. Saltmachine takes down 1. Lassiz gets credit for 2 with a single Whirlpool Kraken, though. And Eager on top of it again. 4v3. Make that 4v1. Lassiz cleans up the 3rd leg of a triple kill.
What I said coming into this game was, how are you going to kill Zapman late game? And now how are you going to kill Zapman late game without your support? I mean, it's just like, there's Khepri ult, there's Geb shield, there's Geb Cataclysm, there's Geb knockup, and then there's Khepri root, there's Khepri silence and pull. It's just like, it's so hard to lock him down. You could see that enemy, they were able to find 1 kill, and if they had been able to lock down Zapman, maybe they turn that fight, or at the very least, maybe they make it even. Unfortunately, though, Zapman, too many tools at his disposal to stay alive.
Exactly. I mean, Zapman now, we talked about the curve, about how this game was going to go. Lassiz did things, well, Lassiz got a triple kill in that last fight, so it's not going to illustrate my picture perfectly, but Lassiz and DareToCare did the work early on. Omega with great initiates throughout the game. What are you giggling at now?
Player damage, man. Omega's leading his team. Oh, Omega, I love you. Yo, Geb solo is the truth. I know what I'm doing tonight in ranked.
I told you.
I'm killing all the Geb solos who think they're Omega. That's what I'm doing tonight.
I told you on a serious note, this might seem extremely curious or troll, whatever your word of choice is, but again, this is a character that Omega has been playing since the release in solo lane. We haven't seen it on the SPL stage, but Omega has been playing it in scrims, in like high-end try-to-win scrims against all sorts of opponents, both on Cloud9 and here on the Eager squad.
Look at this split push, once again coming from enemy, but Eager, they smell it out this time. Darkest Nights, it's coming through. There's the Blinket by Omega. He's going to find a Cataclysm. Khaos eliminated in under a second. Lassiz Kraken on point.
Wiggles running away, trying to escape the Thor, and does perfectly. Stun strong. Basics. Berserker's Barrage. And here comes the Khepri. Wiggles the dead.
Poor Wiggles.
Lassiz gets credit for that one as well. The cleanup Kraken man. 9-2-3 on Eager's mid laner.
Yeah, you can see their Phoenixes respawning, but Vetium's already smelled it out. They're going to rotate. He's going to grab the left one, but the middle one, it won't be as easy. Omega's going to back it. Oh, actually, there's the dash through. One more hit, and that's going to be able to do it. Mid Phoenix going to be spawning, but as long as he keeps Omega busy, but it doesn't matter. It looks like Eager's going to be trying to win with Vetium. He's caught over in this left-hand side. Omega's just keeping him busy.
PainDeViende's just standing there. Titan's going to go down. Team Eager filtering into the base, and this win is looking to go the way of Eager.
Did you just call out PainDeViende for just standing there?
I got really mad at myself after that. You guys couldn't see it on camera.
I can't. Wait, did you do that intentionally or on accident?
No, I apologize.
You're actually like PainDeViende. I don't know why he's sitting there.
PainDeViende unfortunately disconnected on that match, so we won't be able to. So that match had to continue 4v5. All pause time was used, so. Unfortunately for the squad of Enemy, who looked actually pretty decent.
Oh, yeah, even in the 4v5. I mean,
right.
They were actually battling back. Very nice split push coming out from Vetium. I mean, maybe if it was a 4v5 or a 5v5 game, probably would have turned out differently there.
Can never say.